Welcome to our fourth Lunchtime Live session as part of Post 16 Careers Week. My name's Caroline and today we're going to be talking about student transitions to college, sixth form, university, further training and employment, basically preparing for your next steps, covering things like common student concerns, where to go to get support, preparing for adulthood and becoming more independent. So let's get started. So how might leaving school or college make you feel? Will you adjust quickly to college life, university or working life? Are you feeling worried, anxious, eager, excited? Now, whatever you're feeling, it's perfectly normal. The next few years after you turn 16 and leave secondary school, or turn 18 and leave college or finish an apprenticeship, there's some major decisions and life changes to make. So it's usual to feel a range of different emotions separately or all at the same time. Making the right decision, the right choice for you about what comes next will depend on a range of things. So it's really important to spend some time thinking about what you want and what you want to happen. You may not have had to make very many decisions up until this point, but time will go very fast over the next few years and you will have to make a lot of important choices about your future in quick succession. Unfortunately, you can't put this off and you do have to make a choice at some stage, but it doesn't have to be scary. It's also not the end of the world if you make the wrong choice or if you change your mind. So start by having some conversations and doing some research, but if it feels overwhelming, talk to someone and find out about what support is available. It's really useful to identify the people and organisations who can help you and don't be afraid to speak out. I've just got one more school joining, just bear with me 1 second. I'll let them connect and then we'll keep going. So thanks to Stockport School who've just joined us. We've already made a start this afternoon, just covering off the fact that at 16 plus and 18 plus, there's a lot of important life decisions to make. And it's important, it's understandable, it's normal to experience a range of different emotions, but important to start having those conversations early so that you can make the right decisions for you. So moving on to our next slide. You should break down the decision into manageable chunks and mini milestones so that you can feel in control and take it one step at a time. And we just mentioned that you need to start by identifying a list of things that you'll need. And these might include your qualifications. So what do you need for your dream job or even your first job? What qualifications, courses are required? What soft and hard skills do you need? Are there specific skills that an employer is going to be asking for that you need to start thinking about developing? Personal development. Do you need to work on your confidence, your communication skills, or your personal independence skills, things like travel and getting around, managing your money, etc.? Work experience. Do you need to gain some hands-on practical skills in the workplace to help boost your CV and support your job aspirations? And support. Now, you'll definitely need help from others along the way. There's no denying that, whether it's in education or training or workplaces, your personal or your professional life, to teach you things, offer advice, share their expertise and experiences, and help you overcome some of these new challenges that you'll never have faced before. Now, you don't need to tick off all these boxes in one go, but having a plan that interests you will help you stay motivated and committed to achieving what you set out to do. Research will help you plan. Just one more to admit. Research will help you plan ahead for those all-important next steps, and knowing yourself better will help you make the right choices that suit you and ensure that you succeed. But remember, even with a plan, everyone makes mistakes or a bad choice from time to time. It's okay to change your mind and direction, and hopefully by arming yourself with more information, it'll make it easier to get back on track. So sorry, we've just had another school join us now who've missed only 2 slides, so don't worry. We've just done a general introduction about the importance of starting to think about your next steps after secondary school or college early on, and some of the things that you might need to start considering to make a plan and help yourself to feel more informed and in control of what comes next, so that you can stay motivated and make sure that your plan stays on track. So moving on, just to cover a few things about specialist support. So if you already have specialist support in place at school or college for academic, emotional or other support needs, moving on from an established support network can feel especially worrying. So talk to your next provider about your needs and the support that they can help put in place to help you transition. Remember that wherever you move on to, your next provider will want you to succeed and be happy, so they'll support this in any way that they can. If you're leaving care, you'll be assigned a personal advisor who will help you make a pathway plan, and there are also some legal requirements for providers to offer support, for example, if you have an EHCP or a diagnosed condition. So just on that briefly, for those of you who do have an EHCP or SEND statement, you can expect reviews in years 9, 10 and 11 centred around your needs, aspirations and abilities. And this should include careers advice on post-16 options and a transition plan with early conversations about what you need to prepare for adulthood. You'll also get help accessing learning advisor support and agreeing the information to be shared with your new provider, support with funding applications to help your longer term plans if required, and ensuring that health services like your GP are made aware of any changes. For all students, however, schools, colleges, sixth forms and training providers all have provision in place to help support your needs and help you prepare for your next steps, and that's called pastoral support, and includes access to things like student services. So that's where there's a designated safeguarder who will help you with matters relating to your mental and physical safety and welfare. If you're attending open events or open evenings at the moment, or taking part in online chat with some of the colleges or sixth forms or training providers that you're considering, this is definitely something that you should ask them about. There should also be academic support in place, regular catch-up meetings with your teacher, course tutor, lecturers, learning support advisors, check in on how you're doing, and if you start to fall behind or you're struggling with any aspects of your academic studies, they're there to support you. There'll be specialist support available if you have a particular challenge, but you need to know where to go to raise this concern. And often there's also things like mentoring and buddy networks to help you settle in as well. And that goes for if you're about to leave college and you're heading off to university or to study a high level apprenticeship, for example. And don't forget that if you are starting an apprenticeship or have a work-based element, whether it be T-levels or a traineeship, for example, employers also have obligations to provide this support and make sure that you're catered for in the workplace settings as well. Now, don't panic if all of this feels a little bit overwhelming. There is a lot to consider in leaving one provider and starting with a new one. So as part of Post-16 Careers Week, as we've mentioned throughout the Lunchtime Live sessions, there's tons of resources available on the Stockport Jobs Match website to help you. You can click on any of the banners on the Stockport Jobs Match homepage. That will take you to the main event page for Post-16 Careers Week. And by clicking on the student and teacher resources, you'll be taken to all of the specialist areas that we've discussed throughout the course of the week. Today's is Transitions to Post-16 Study, and you'll initially find a 5-minute bite-sized video all about leaving school, leaving college and preparing for your next steps. We've also got a 10-question mini Quizlet to test your knowledge and gauge how confident you're feeling about those next steps. And for teachers, we also have lesson plans and PowerPoint slides if you'd like to plan a longer classroom session if you wish. Now, one of the tools that we've made available as part of transitions to college and preparing for adulthood as part of today's session is called the Transitions Toolkit. And this activity, you can just download it off the website in those student and teacher resources. And it's designed to help you think about and build your support network and strategies from transitioning, so moving from school or college and preparing for those next steps. And what it asks you to do is start by identifying your worries and concerns. We all have them, however small, and sometimes it helps to articulate them. Considering the challenges that you may face that you've never considered, but things that are going to be new that you may or may not find challenging. Think about how you'll cope with those, and think about all of the practical solutions that you'll need. And that might be basic things like you don't know how to get there or what bus to take. Or it may be things like, I'm not sure how I'm going to make friends. Not sure whether the subjects that I've chosen will be a big step up, and what happens if I fall behind? What happens if I don't get the grades? We've got a whole webpage that's put together around this that talks about common student concerns that you may be facing, but actually putting them together down on a list of how you're feeling at the moment can really help. And finally, finding out where you can get help, which we'll come on to in a second. So sometimes recognizing your own worries, saying them out loud, or even writing them down can feel quite hard to do. You might not have admitted them before to your others, or even to yourself, or even considered them yet, but this tool is a really good place to start. Now, you can just use it for your own personal use to scribble all over when nobody's looking, or you can decide to share it with somebody that you trust. It's completely up to you. But simply by starting to think about it, even if it is just thinking and not actually writing anything down about possible solutions, is a really good first step. Now, if you do need help finding out about specialist support services in Stockport, you can also use our digital event prospectus that we've put together as part of Post-16 Careers Week. So again, click on the banner on the home page, go to the Post-16 Careers Week event, and then click on the virtual exhibition section. That will take you to a link to download our digital event prospectus. And in there, as well as all of the exhibitors who we've highlighted throughout the course of this week so far, so employers, colleges and sixth forms, FE and HE training providers, we've got a section on support services. Now, you can either access those by clicking on the virtual floor plan, on any of the numbers within that floor plan that you can see here linked to support services. Or you can scroll down to the exhibitor A to Z and find their full contact details. And by clicking on their stand or their logo or their information, it will take you to their profile on the Stockport Jobs Match website, which will tell you a little bit more about what they do, maybe how to follow them on social media, how to find out more about them, and how to get in touch with them, and any eligibility criteria about accessing that support. So you can see, for example, the demonstration that's on the screen at the moment is about PACS, Parents and Carers Together Stockport, with a little introductory video from Paul Harper there, explaining about what PACS do and about all of the different ways that they can support you. So that's just one example, but I just wanted to highlight all of the support services quickly who have very kindly taken part in Post-16 Careers Week to help increase awareness of the services that they offer for young people. And they include Mosaic Young People's Drug and Alcohol Services, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a second, PACS that I just referenced, Parents and Carers Together Stockport. And did you know that's a fantastic service about helping you get online? So maybe if you don't have access to the right digital devices at home and you want to borrow one from their lending library, maybe you need support with college or university application forms or funding applications. Maybe you need help preparing a school leaver or college leaver CV or applying for apprenticeships. That's the place to go. They've got a great event all next week called Get Online Week, where advisors will be available at the One Stockport Hub, which is the old Argos building in Mersey Way. You can drop in there and get help and support with any of those digital needs. The Stockport Youth Council, that we're going to highlight again briefly in a second. SAYS, which is Stockport Action Youth Speakers. They are a group of young people aged 13 to 25 who have special educational needs and disabilities who want to work to improve the lives of young disabled people in Stockport. We then have Children in Care Council. That's a community and social group for young people who live in care in Stockport. Autism Ambassadors, who are a support group for autistic young people who are at high school and want to work towards making Stockport a better place for those with autism. We've got the National Careers Service, who provide advice and guidance at all ages on different career paths, as well as webinars. They have a personality quiz on their website to help signpost you to different types of careers, and an A to Z of what different jobs involve, the skills, duties, qualifications, entry requirements, etc. We've got the Stockport Volunteer Hub, who can help you find a volunteering placement in Stockport and highlight some of the community organisations that we have here. And finally, Stockport Job Centre Plus, who are promoting the Kickstart scheme, which is a government work scheme for 16 to 24-year-olds who are not in education, employment and training, offering some fantastic placement opportunities with businesses across the Stockport area. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of those support services and how you might find out a little bit more about them. So first of all, we've got Mosaic. They offer a friendly, confidential service to children and young people who are struggling with drug or alcohol abuse. And they also offer support to children who are worried about the drug or alcohol use of a parent, or to parents who are worried about their children's substance use. Their services are free to all under 26-year-olds who live in Stockport. They're based at Central House in the Stockport Family Building on the A6 next to McDonald's. They offer a range of tailored interventions to individuals in schools, community venues, service user homes, colleges, and if necessary, hospitals, partner agency clinics, and other settings. It's primarily via one-to-one sessions, but they do also offer group and community resources too. Their treatment team accepts self-referrals, so you can refer yourself or another through third-party referrals from any individual, agency, service or professional. They have a dedicated inbox, mosaic@stockport.gov.uk, and the telephone number, and you can find out all about that on the Mosaic page or via our digital event prospectus. Next up, we have Stockport Youth Council, so something completely different. So if you are someone in Stockport who wants to campaign on the issues that are important to young people, such as the climate emergency, improving mental health services for young people, votes at 16, bullying, then you should think about joining Stockport Youth Council. Young people can join the Youth Council for different reasons. Some join because they want to stand for election to the UK Youth Parliament, others because they want to do something for the volunteering section of their Duke of Edinburgh Award, for example, and some come along simply for the community element or because a friend is a member. The Youth Council meet on Wednesday, 5 till 6:30 at Stockford House in Stockport Town Centre. And to find out more about them, you can search on Twitter and Instagram at Stockport Youth. So they're another great support service for young people. And finally, I just wanted to come on to mental health support services within Stockport. A really, really important slide, this one. So I don't know whether you're allowed your phone in the classroom or during your lunch hour, but if you do, or maybe your teacher or your careers advisor could take a photo of this slide. If not, it will be on our social media page at some point throughout the course of the day. It's got a lot of useful numbers in here. So particularly after the circumstances of the past year or two, looking after your mental well-being has never been more important. And here in Stockport, there are a lot of dedicated free services available to help you. Let's be honest, 2020 was pretty tough, and the start of 2021 hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows either, but that's why taking care of our mental health and well-being and talking to somebody if we need to is really, really important, especially now. So if you are under 18, if you want to speak to somebody on the phone, Childline is here to help anyone under 19 with any issue that they're going through. So you can talk to them about absolutely anything, whether it's something big or small. Their trained counsellors are there to support you. You can call 0800 1111 anytime, day or night. If you want to do it by text or online message, Chat Health will connect you with health professionals to talk about any subject, including how you're feeling, healthy eating, sexual health, to name but a few. You can text them or start a chat on their website and you'll get a dedicated response in less than 24 hours. If you want to go online, Kooth is available to anyone aged 11 to 18. You can chat with other people your age that know what you're going through. It's completely confidential. You can write a daily journal or message mental health professionals to get advice directly. You just visit the website to sign up and create a free account. And if you need urgent help, you can also contact Hopeline. That line is open from 9 AM till midnight every day of the week. There's a range of similar services for over 18. So by phone, open door, that's 24/7 service for anyone who needs to talk about the feelings. Shout, if you're struggling to cope and need to talk, you just drop them a text day or night. Together All is an online community where people support each other completely anonymously. You can talk to others, get advice or complete courses to understand your mental health and well-being better. Just visit the website. And finally, Samaritans, if you need urgent help, whatever you're going through, Samaritans will face it with you. So make a note of those important numbers. Couple of final things. So support networks, leaving school or college, starting university or work, trying something new and meeting different people can all seem like really scary prospects, but remember that you're not alone. Preparing for adulthood and making decisions for perhaps the first time in your life, stepping out, maybe not agreeing with what your parents or family members say, but making choices just for you. It's quite stressful for all of us. But what's really important is to recognise if we are struggling, or to spot others around us who are, and to know that it's okay to not be okay. Everybody is different, and whilst those around us may be experiencing similar things, it may not be at the same time or in the same ways. Now, sometimes it's easier to solve someone else's problems rather than tackling our own. It may seem simpler to offer advice to a friend or peer on their situation rather than break down our own challenges. So that's why we've put together a group activity for today, which is a small number of case studies about different scenarios that can be used to start discussions about conversations on things that you might have experienced or someone else you know might have. You can start to think about how you'd react in different scenarios, the type of support that you might offer, and where you'd go to get help. It might also help you or others to recognise what you're feeling, to look out for warning signs about how you might help that person when you need it most. Couple of final points on becoming independent and some of the things that you might need to start thinking about now you're turning 16 or 18. Finances and money management, so things like having a bank account for wages or bursaries, managing your own income and expenditure. Your studies and education, so choosing what and where you want to study now and in the future, as well as managing your own workload and taking responsibility for deadlines. Employment, things like starting an apprenticeship, maybe finding a part-time job, getting work experience, volunteering, etc. Housing or transport, some of you may be leaving care or decide to move away from home or move into accommodation provided for by your college, for example. Transport, getting yourself to college. Most of you will travel a bit further than maybe you have done for secondary, or if you're going off to university a lot further. You might need to save up for transport or budget the cost you'll need for transport, as well as making sure you can get to places on time. General life skills, you'll also need to start developing your decision making, negotiating, budgeting, self-care. And the sooner you start some of those, the easier it will be to transition later on. Identity, whether that be managing the ID that you need, so things like your birth certificate, your passport, provisional driver's license, national insurance number, etc. To enrol with a provider or start an apprenticeship or a job, right through to deciding to change your name or your gender, for example. So that brings us to the end of today's Lunchtime Live session. I know we've overrun slightly because we had a couple of problems with people joining us. We just wanted to finish by setting a quick daily challenge for you to do during school or at home this evening. So can you find out about one support service, either via our digital event prospectus or another support service specifically for young people that might help you to build your support network over the next few years? So what they do and how they can help you, the services that they offer and who's eligible for them, how to contact them, when they're open, and whether you need a referral to access them. So you can share what you've learned with your teacher, family members, your peers later on or tomorrow. You can tell us about your findings on social media using hashtag post16 careers week. Hopefully just by finding out one support service that can help you over the next few years will be a really good take home from today's session. So hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry that we overran slightly. Don't forget to come back tomorrow for our final Lunchtime Live session, an absolutely great session all about thinking about your next step. So what happens at 18 and how that affects your decision making now, choosing those end career goals and preparing for university, obtaining a degree, alternatives to going to university like employment, self-employment, higher and degree level apprenticeships, leaving home, and other aspects about preparing for adulthood in practical terms.